Hello and welcome to Shauna Stitches. This is episode number 13, which I happen to be filming on February the 13th, 2017. And so episode 13 on the 13th. I did not plan that, but anyways, interesting coincidence. Like I said, welcome to new and returning viewers. I'm happy to have you here watching my podcast, and thanks for joining me. We're going to talk about some knitting. If you have noticed, if you've seen my other episodes, I do have a different setting today. I happen to be at my boyfriend's house, which meant I had to pack a lot of stuff down here in order to film, but I think I have it all, so that'll be good. And I might also have 3 co-hosts that you'll see popping up, my 2 Chihuahuas and then his black lab, Cody. So he's off to my right. You may see him pop up from time to time. I am drinking black coffee today, just in case you're curious. There's Fiona off to my left, curious. She wants some coffee. Chihuahuas on coffee would be really bad. Alrighty. Real quick before I get into what I have been knitting, I'd just like to remind everyone to please enter the Mermaid Party Cal. I don't even know what my knit along is called. Mermaid Party knit along for socks, which is in the Ravelry group under Shauna Stitches group, the groups tab. And there's a chatter thread, and there's also a finished objects thread. And if you knit a pair of socks, you can enter that. The socks have to be started January 2017 or sooner, and anytime through the end of March. So one pair of finished socks gets you 1 entry into the FO thread, and if you happen to use my Kiss the Partridge heel, then you will get 2 entries, but you do have to manually enter those yourself. And the prize for that, which I don't have in front of me, but if you check last episode you can see, is a skein of Mermaid Party yarn, fingering weight yarn for socks, by, I'm totally blanking, Yarn Cafe Creations, that's it. Anyway, it's very beautiful, and it's going to make some nice socks. So that yarn is going to be my March socks, so stay tuned for what that looks like. Also, big news is that I've been knitting for a year now, so 1 entire year. And I was just thinking this morning what that means. So when I started knitting last February, I was using straight needles, and I couldn't even hold both needles, in one hand and the other. I had to stick a needle between my legs to hold it still, and then knit on it, and I had to manually bring the yarn over each time. So within this year, obviously I've managed being able to hold 2 needles, being able to use double points, being able to use circulars. I've taught myself to flick, and my speed has greatly increased. So I think I'm one of those new knitters that I'm not really scared to try new things, so it hasn't really stopped me. I'm not sure what I want to learn this year. I want to keep trying new things. Obviously socks is my big focus this year. But yeah, I just don't want to let anything stop me. So anyways, if you're a new knitter and you feel like you have a lot to learn, trust me, you can learn a lot in a very short amount of time. So I definitely encourage you to try some new things. Now we're going to get on to finished objects. I have 3 finished objects since the last time I talked to you. The first one wasn't even a whip when I talked to you last time, and this is the Copycat CC beanie. I don't recall who the pattern is by. I think I actually found this while scrolling on Facebook at one time or another. And I had a friend who wanted me to make her a cabled hat similar to the one I made my boyfriend. And I just really wasn't finding time for it, so I felt that this was going to be a lot faster. So if you're curious what the Copycat CC, what that means, there is a company called Colorado Chick, or CC, and they have these beanies with like a little leather tag on them down here that are super popular right now. So that's what this is modeled after. And I think I have my hair in a way that I can try this on. hopefully without messing it up too bad, to give you an idea of how it looks on. There you go. So it's supposed to be slouchy, but the friend I knit it for really didn't want it slouchy. Same as I don't prefer my hats to be very slouchy, so this would be how I would want my hat to fit. And yeah, I think it came out pretty good. This was my very first, I think it's called a folded brim. You see the inside, it's a double thickness. So I used a provisional cast on, which didn't work exactly as it's supposed to. You're supposed to be able to pull out the provisional cast on as you go and pick up those stitches, but for some reason it seemed like mine was backwards, so I just had to kind of pick out the stitches as I went. No big deal, it still worked. It probably just slowed me down a little bit. But anyway, I will be knitting at least another one of those. I have a friend who wanted the messy bun hat. I don't know the exact name of the one that she wanted, but I found it on Ravelry and I bought it. I knit it up, or I should say I crocheted it up because it's crochet. And it just seemed like it was fitting really snug, and I just decided I didn't really care for that pattern very much. I don't like the way it's written, so I'm going to do this one. There's instructions on it for how to do this messy bun style. So that'll be on my needles at some point. On to finished object number 2. It is my monkey socks by Cookie A, and these were done in Blue Moon Fiber Arts Socks That Rock in the Coastal Sunset Celebration colorway, and these are sport weight, so my first sport weight socks ever, and I have worn these once. I have to say that they are a lot warmer and a lot thicker than my other ones. But if you're unfamiliar with the monkey pattern, which I highly doubt because I feel like everyone has knit these, but there's a close-up of what it looks like. So it's this nice, I don't know, kind of, it almost looks braided, but it's really pretty. And those I did on a 2.5 millimeter circular, 9-inch circular needle. Well, I'll talk about what I was going to say just down the road. And my third finished object, which I have to put on the sock blockers, maybe I'll just put one on here, it takes a little time, are my and so yes, the monkey socks were my January socks for my box of socks. These here are my January socks for my boyfriend. And in case you doubt me, I do have 2 of them, ginormous socks. They are size 14 men's, US men's sizes, and this is the Blueberry Waffles colorway. Give you a close-up of the color. It's just this really pretty variegated blues, dark blue, light blue, and some gray in there. But yeah, these turned out really good, and I'll be gifting him these, the second pair I've made for him, tomorrow on Valentine's Day. Alrighty, now on to whips. So if you follow me on Instagram, you have definitely seen my woes about this next project, which is the Find Your Fade shawl. First of all, I know the whole premise behind the shawl, or at least I think the intended purpose, is that you go into your stash and you find 7 whole and or some partial skeins of yarn to use for this shawl. And even though I have a lot of yarn, I was really feeling like I don't have anything that's going to go together, and I don't know. And I'm not even sure exactly why I wanted to knit this so badly, except for that I've seen it over and over and over again, and each version I've seen is just beautiful, so I think that has something to do with it. I tend to like the versions that have almost like a cream or a light colored base with a lot of different colored speckles, and then when they change the speckles as they go. I really like that, which I think is why I was feeling like nothing in my stash was going to work, because I don't really have any speckled yarns, which I probably need to remedy at some point, but not this year. So anyway, so I went into my stash one morning, early morning after I just gotten off work. Literally, I couldn't stop thinking about the shawl the entire night that I was working, which is so frustrating because I just want to like touch my yarn, and and see what I can make, work. So I got home, that's the first thing I did, and I pulled out a couple skeins that I wouldn't mind using for something other than socks. So I have a lot of skeins that, well, I think I can make over 100 pairs of socks, literally, with all the different ones that I have. And for some reason in my head, I don't want to sacrifice those to use in a shawl, which I know makes absolutely no sense. But it is what it is. I can't make sense of some things in my brain. So I started pulling out a few that I really wasn't wanting to use for socks. And then as I kept going and kept going, I was like, oh, well, this would look nice with those. And eventually I came to the realization that I had 8 colors of ice yarn mini sock. And those, if you've heard me talk about them before, are 50-gram skeins. And like I said, I have 8 different colors. So I managed to come up with a fade using 7 of those 8 colors. And I think it's going to look really good. So I'll show you what I have so far, and then I'll go into my color choices. So there we go. It's getting pretty big. I think you can see that. So I have 3 colors on here now, which it's hard to tell because at the very top here I'm at one of the color melting sections. But as you can see, I've got the blue, turquoise, and black, which melts into black and 3 different purples, which melts into a gray and pink combo, and I'll show you that in a minute. I just want to say I have no idea. There's about 2,000 Ravelry projects for this so far, and I had to re-knit this bottom section 3 times. I was pulling my hair out. I was so frustrated. It wasn't the actual point here that I was having issues with. It was this first lace section. I have absolutely no idea what I was doing wrong. My stitch count was right at the end of this garter section. So it should have came out perfectly. And I still can't tell you if I was doing the pattern wrong or if it just didn't work out. But either way, 3rd time was the charm. I put in a lifeline after the garter and went with the lace. And I did have to fudge the very first repeat rows. Sometimes having to knit together an extra 2 to reduce a stitch. I don't think I ever had to say knit front and back to add a stitch or anything like that. But I can't tell you why it didn't work, because the first repeat wasn't great, and then the next 2 repeats I had absolutely 0 problems. Perfect stitch count every single row, and I have no idea why. It's totally, I'm flabbergasted and confused. This is not a terribly difficult knit, and I don't know what my mental roadblock was or what the issue was. So yeah, you can see right here where I did the fade, which I think is kind of obvious with these 2 colors, just because the purples and the blues are so different, but no issues with it. I think it looks great. On to this lace section, I had 0 problems with this lace section, so I think I finally got it figured out. I don't think I'm going to I hope, continue to have any problems knitting the lace, but I probably will put in a lifeline every single time just in case. And so the reason why I re-knit the whole bottom section was because I didn't want to tink back. Like, lace is hard for me to tink back, and I could do it. It's a lot of concentration. And I really stink at just picking up a whole row of stitches. If it was 1 or 2, I wouldn't have a problem, but the whole thing is just not going to happen. So that was my choice. I should have put the lifeline in sooner, and yeah, just a word of caution to those of you who, anyway, use your lifelines. That's what I'm trying to say. You're not saying that you're less of a knitter by using a lifeline, I don't think. Saving yourself a lot of time and headache. Okay, so yes, anyway, that's my fade. I love it. I'm in love with it. Now I'll go into the colors that I picked and why I picked them. So again, this is the first color, which will look really familiar here down the road. But you have some black and 2 different colors of blues. And this, by the way, is how much yarn I had left over from a 50-ball skein. It's supposed to take 20 grams, I believe. So I haven't weighed it because I don't have my scale here, but I'd say I probably have close to 30 grams left. And follow that up by, oh, this one's still attached to the shawl. Follow that up by this really pretty black, I call it grape, raspberry, and I don't have a good name for that light colored purple, lavender, I guess. So yeah, I thought those two, obviously the black ties them together. I'm gonna see if I can stack these like other people have. I'll probably fail, but oh well. And then my third color, which you couldn't really see very well in the shawl, is this gorgeous charcoal gray and pink. And while that doesn't really, have any colors in common, I'm finding that obviously the gray is very neutral, but there's sections of the pink and gray where it's transitioning, where it looks really close to that lavender. And then the black and the charcoal gray just seem to be going really well together, so I think that's going to turn out well. So there's those three. And the next color, I should have got these out first. Hold on. Bear with me 1 minute here. All right, now I have to try and remember what order these were in. I think this is the next one. This one here will be my fourth color, which doesn't want to focus, but you get the idea. So this obviously brings in the pinks from the previous color, and you can see what that looks like there, maybe. The next color, which should look familiar, I have a pair of socks made out of this. It's got yellow, salmon, like a cantaloupe color, light pink, and some orange. So I believe that is going to pick up on the orange. They all just fell. I think that's going to pick up on the oranges from this skein, and I think that'll look nice. And let me see if I can find my yarn. All right, so this is getting more and more difficult. So we have this and this and this, followed by this one and this one. Yeah, I can't really hold that up very well. Alrighty. And the next one is going to be this color here. And again, I think that's going to pick up on the oranges from this skein really well. I'm not going to pick them all up again because there's no way. That's going to be a mess. And the very last skein, color number 7, is this beautiful gray, white, blue, and tan, which is obviously going to pick up some of those tans and the blues from this skein. So that is my fade. I seriously don't want to put it down. It's one of those knits where you feel like, oh, let me just get done with this melt section. Let me get done with this garter section. I just want to get to the lace. Let me finish the lace. It's just, it's very addictive, and I'm having a good time knitting it. The issue with that is that I've been working on that so much that I am really behind on my socks. And I mean really behind. So that's what I'm going to show you next. This, like I said, should look really familiar. This is the exact same color as the first color from my fade, but I happen to love how it's knitting up as socks. So these are my February socks for my boyfriend. This is the vanilla latte pattern. So just a simple sort of ribbed stitch all along. I am almost done with the first sock. So I have a couple more rows, probably 10 to 20 more rows, then I gotta start the toe. And then I'll be able to cast on for the cuff of the next one. And my February socks are absolutely pathetic. This is my February socks. Actually, oh yes, I already told you about the yarn. So these are my February socks. You can't even tell, but this is the Mercury sock pattern. I've only done, I think, maybe one repeat of it. and so far I'm not in love. I know people say these fly off the needles. I have not found that to be true yet, but hopefully. This is what the yarn looks like. It's absolutely gorgeous. Very Valentine's Day-y, I think. And this is Witch Candy Yarns in the colorway Lily Purlitzer. So yeah, it's gorgeous. I'm gonna make myself put my my Find Your Fade shawl away and work on socks, even if it kills me, and it might. The last whip that I have to show you that I have been working on, although not too recently, is another sock. I started this sock back at the end of January when I had finished all my January socks. So this would count for my box of socks if or when I finish it, but it doesn't. I'm doing several knit-alongs where you have to start in a month and finish within the same month. I would like to say about this yarn though, here's what it looks like all caked up. This is Ice Yarn's Magic Sock, and if you look really closely, there's that sort of cream color right here where my finger is, and even the yellow there. It actually has little speckles, which I think are gorgeous. It's got like pink and blue speckles, which I know are hard to see. There we go, it's actually focusing. But yeah, I think this color is gorgeous, and obviously it's self-striping. Ice Yarns has, they have some acrylic yarns called Ice Yarn Magic Light, and I feel like this is probably patterned after that. Those have really cool like colorway transitions, but I really like how this is knitting up. This is the Vanilla Latte pattern also. Yeah, I can't think of anything else I want to say about that. So yeah, like I said, I have to start focusing on my socks. I do have a couple acquisitions. The first one is this gorgeous skein of Blue Moon Fiber Arts Socks That Rock. Again, this is the sport weight yarn. The color is called Purple Rain, and I did not buy this, so don't worry, I didn't break my promises. My boyfriend actually got this for me, so I don't know when I'll be casting this on, but fairly soon. It won't be my March socks, but maybe April. And I think I want to try a bigger needle, maybe a 2.75 millimeter and less stitches, possibly 56 stitches on this, just to see how that comes out. But yeah, that'll be really, really interesting to try out. And the last acquisition I have is going to be a little crinkly, so I apologize. But it is my row one, which is so cute. She sent me a little Valentine. I can't tell you the last time I had Valentines. But anyway, super cute. And she did send a little heart stitch marker there. So that'll be nice to use for my socks. The yarn that came this month is called Lichen and Lace. And again, if you haven't heard me talk about these, you get a little letter about the company as well as the colors that you get. And here's the crinkly part. I haven't even opened this yet. Here's what the bag looks like before I dump any out. Let's see, what are some of my favorites here? This one called Orchid is beautiful. Cream with some red and pink, very Valentine's Day-ish. I also love this one. This is called Marsh Lily. I'm really loving the creams with other colors added in lately. Oh, this one's gorgeous. Wildflowers. Isn't that beautiful? It really does look like a field of wildflowers. Huckleberry, also gorgeous. And let me just pick a couple more here. Oh, Sweet Pea, I love that. And one more. We'll do this one, Rhubarb. again, very beautiful. So those will eventually find their way into my Cozy Memories blanket and into my crochet stripe blanket when I finally find the time to work on those. But right now I'm just really enjoying what I have on the needles, especially that Find Your Fade shawl. If you're hesitant at all, I definitely highly encourage you to look through your stash and find something and make it work. I didn't want to buy more yarn for it, and I think what I found in my stash is going to work well. So anyway, I guess that's it. I feel like this is a pretty short episode, even though I had a lot to say, so I must have been talking really fast. I hope you guys have a lovely Valentine's Day and a lovely rest of the month, and I will be seeing y'all and talking to y'all soon. Bye.